Hi, my name is Emily here at the Autan Family Wellness Center, and today I'm going to show you how to make a ribbon skirt. So first I pick out a fabric that I like the print of, and this one is one of my favorites, and then I'm going to show you how to measure it on yourself. So I'm going to unroll the fabric, and you only want enough for yourself to be able to walk, so I'm going to put it around my waist. I'm going to take one step out, and wherever it comes that is covering my toe, that is where I'm going to measure it to. So right here is how much fabric I'm going to need. So what I do is, to make sure I'm cutting straight, I fold it in half right there and I lay it out. And you can already see that the fabric isn't straight. I'm just going to cut along this end right here. Next, what I'm going to do is cut along the fold to give me two panels, and those two panels should look like this. So I've laid out one of my panels here, and I'm going to measure where I want my ribbons to sit. So be mindful that you have to make a hem. So I'm going to do probably 7 inches. So I'm just going to measure for 7, make a mark. 7, What I like to use is this 505. It holds the ribbons in place while you're sewing. You don't need to spray too much of it, but I'll just show you how I use it. So I've chosen my 3 ribbon colors. I'm going to lay the first ribbon along the mark that I've made, and just make sure I'm covering up any pen marks. And then my second ribbon, I'm going to go ahead and lay it flush with the first ribbon. Going to cut off the ends. Okay, so I'm going to change out my thread color from black to white. I'm going to show you how I do that, starting with the bobbin. I'm pulling this to open my bobbin, and I'm going to pull this up. Sometimes it needs to be wiggled out a little bit. And I'm going to place in my bobbin with the white thread. The bobbin should always be facing this way, with the thread coming out from the left, and there's a little notch you just go around there. Every sewing machine is different, but they're pretty standard in that way. So to thread my needle, I'm going to take this white up here, and this guy holds the thread in place as I'm sewing. I'm going to go around here. They're numbered 1, 2, 3. Up around 4, 5, 6, and thread the needle here. Now to get my thread from under here up, I just take this knob and I twist it down and up to the top here. And then I can pull this thread, my top thread, and it will pull the bobbin thread out. And that's how you thread the machine. So I like to start with the middle ribbon. I have it on a zigzag stitch, and I'm just gonna go ahead and stitch those together. Oh. that I've laid the ribbons on both panels, I'm going to take the panels, make sure the ribbons are facing in, and I'm gonna pin the sides together, starting with the ribbons, because I want to make sure the ribbons line up. So I'm just gonna take the ends, pin at the edge of this ribbon, and pin at the edge of this ribbon. And then I'm gonna pin along the entire edge until I get to the end. So I'm just gonna make a straight stitch all the way down to the end of the skirt. And just make sure your ribbons are lining up as you're making that stitch. The sides are together. So after that straight stitch is done, you're gonna wanna go onto the outside line and make the same zigzag stitch you made along the ribbon. So you're gonna make a zigzag stitch right there. So I'm making the zigzag stitch along the outside because it's gonna stop your ribbon from fraying. So I'm gonna show you. So there's the zigzag stitch. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut off all this extra ribbon right here. So that's gonna stop it from fraying into the skirt. So we have a serger here at the office, so I was able to use a serger on that. But what you should have is one straight stitch all the way up to the very top, and also a zigzag stitch right along it. And then you want to cut off all the ribbons along so that there's nothing sticking out there. Once you have that, then we can take it over to the sewing machine and make our hem. To make our hem, we're going to take the bottom of the skirt and I'm going to make 2 folds. So I'm going to fold in once. I'm going to iron that fold. And if you have a finished edge like this, you can just do it once, but if you don't have a finished edge, you fold in a second time and iron so that you get that nice clean look on the inside. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to make a straight stitch along the edge here to hold the hem in place. Now that I have my finished hem, I'm going to take my skirt and I'm going to flip it inside out so that I can measure how long I want it for myself. Some people like to do this at the beginning. I don't think it really matters too much. So I want it to sit about there, and I need to leave myself about 1 inch from where I want it to sit. I like to wear mine high around my waist. So, and then I'm going to give myself a couple inches. I'm probably going to cut off that much material right there. So it's better to be safe than sorry. If you think that it might end up too short, just make sure you're cutting off less than you think that you need to, just in case. So I just folded it over like this. You could also do it by measuring. If I took the measuring tape, and I wanted to see how long, have somebody else do this for you, but I wanted to see how long I was, I would just take that, and then I'd have to be standing, obviously. So whatever that says, which I think is 37, and add a couple inches on. So I would just take this. So I'm sitting at probably about 37, so I could even just add an extra inch. So let's fold it over so it's, there we go. And I'm just gonna take this and cut it off. and we're gonna head back to the ironing board. So I flipped my skirt back inside out, and I'm going to iron down the edge similar to like we did on the bottom. So I've done that once. The difference is when you're ironing the hem as opposed to where the elastic is going to go, you want to make sure you leave yourself enough room to put the elastic in. So I'm going to flip for the second time, but this time, so I have the one edge there, I'm flipping for the second time. This time when I'm measuring, this is my elastic because I forgot to get some, but here is how thick it's going to be. I want to leave extra room so that I can sew that there. So I'm doing about 1.5 inches of space for the elastic. So now that I have it ironed over, I'm gonna switch my settings of my needle so that it's along this edge. And I'm just gonna make a straight stitch all the way around with my foot on the edge so that I have enough room for the elastic. So with this part, because you're gonna leave a hole, I'm gonna back stitch and then continue around. So I want to leave enough room for my elastic to fit in. So I'm going to leave a pretty decent sized hole, probably about there. Back stitch again. So when I take it out, I'll show you. The elastic is going to be able to slide in and go either way that way. Just because I don't have elastic right now, I'm just going to use this ribbon to show you how you would measure your elastic. So I like to wear mine around my waist, so I'm going to put it around my waist. And don't forget elastic stretches, so you can pull it right to how tight that you want it. And if you want it around your hips, those are obviously going to be two different tightnesses. So you measure it to here and then even cut off a little bit more. I would say probably about 1 inch more because you want it to be tight to hold it around your waist. So once you do that, cut here and then you're going to grab a safety pin. And on the end of the elastic, you're going to use the safety pin to guide the elastic through the skirt. Here's the hole in my skirt. Here's the elastic and the safety pin. So I'm just pulling the head of the safety pin through the skirt and pushing the bottom of it like this. Kind of like an inchworm. So I have the elastic out both ends now. What I'm gonna do is take, it's kind of hard to tell with the ribbon, but I'm going to take both sides, make sure that they're the same. I don't know if you can see with this ribbon, but one side is shiny and one side's not. So I'm just gonna make sure the same side is together for the elastic, meaning you don't want it to be twisted anywhere in the band. So just make sure that it's not twisted before you sew it together. Once you have sewn your elastic together, you can take your waistband and close the hole. Don't forget to back stitch on the front and the end just to reinforce the stitch. After that, flip your skirt inside out and you're done.